coverage. I'm your host, Nick McCandless, and we're going to get into, finally, the playoff parallelogram. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on with it, why I thought it was a great idea, and exactly where the teams are, according to me. Let's get into it.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Okay, we're here. This is it. Time for the playoff parallelogram. You can see it on your screen. It is the future of how we rank sports. Now, obviously, there's some teams that aren't even going to make it into the parallelogram. That's because those teams are not going to make the playoffs. How I structure the parallelogram is the left side, as you can see. You're going to see it right around that side. And that's going to be teams that are, might sniff the playoffs, might sneak in last second, kind of like Packers missing last year and everything like that. Just right there. And then obviously once we get into the meat of it, the section that actually says here for a cup of coffee are the teams that are actually in the playoffs. Ones that are going to be able to win a game, compete. They might even be bounced first round. That's okay. It's just you're here, you're in the playoffs, but no one really expects you to do anything, and that's okay. And then obviously we're going to have the real contenders. I'm going to try and keep that to about 7 to 8 for the most part. It's going to change. I'm going to have some very strong opinions, but we're going to get through this video pretty quickly. Don't want to keep you talking about every nuance and every player, because if that's the case, then I'm going to really start talking about my Panthers, and I can't do that. So let's start with the teams that won't sniff the playoffs. Nice and easy. Let's do it. First one's Cardinals. I'm sorry. Nobody believes that you guys are going to be able to do anything. I just don't see it. I don't see what you guys are doing. The trading of Isaiah Simmons, obviously. I think Hollywood Brown will probably be on the move at some point. I think Budda Baker will be traded before the deadline. I wish my Panthers would go get him, but we'll see. When it comes to the Colts, I liked what I saw from Richardson. I just don't think this is the year. I think that you really do need Jonathan Taylor signed, really being the bell cow again, really being able to help the team out in the long term. Now, Bears. Yes. Do I think the Bears could make the playoffs? I do. Do I think that's this year? No. I think that Fields needs about one more year. I think that's what we're going to see from Stroud as well, going to the Texans at the bottom. Both Ohio State quarterbacks are going to need some time to develop, and that's okay. I just think that the acquisition of DJ Moore from my Carolina Panthers is going to elevate them quite a bit. They're just not there yet, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I've heard rumors of them trying to bring back Khalil Mack, but we'll see. We'll see. Next one is going to be my Panthers. I've made plenty of videos about us needing to pay Brian Burns. I truly believe that we have a bottom 5 secondary in the league. I believe that we have a best case, bottom 7 wide receiver core. I think that Thielen is past his prime. I think that Chark and Laviska are good. But they're 2s or 3s. They're not 1s. There's plenty of people I would love for my Panthers to go after, including T. Higgins, but I do also agree he's also like a 1.5, 2. So I don't really know what to do. I'm just not expecting a lot from my Panthers. I'm expecting like 6 wins, if you're lucky. Rams, to be honest, the crazy thing I thought about was if the Rams go into this next game and lose, what you guys should do is trade Matt Stafford to the Jets for their first-round pick, trade away just basically everything you can. I would shop Aaron Donald. I would get him out of there. I'd personally ship him to a place like Pittsburgh or something, but obviously do what's best for the Rams. I just don't think this is a year. I think this is where you beat the Cardinals in the tank and really diversify next year. I think that Caleb Williams should be a Ram and not a Cardinal. He doesn't need to get Josh Rosen like Kyler Murray's about to get Josh Rosen. So, moving on though, Giants. It's going to be real easy. I think they're limited with Daniel Jones. I do believe that they're going to make a poor decision in the draft upcoming by taking somebody like a Riley Leonard, another Duke quarterback, which again, I'm a diehard Duke fan. I just don't believe in their quarterbacks in the NFL. It just doesn't translate so far. Daniel Jones might prove us all wrong. He's won a playoff game. That's great, but I just don't see it being more. I see this being a growing year because right now their wide receiver core, their best receiver is a rookie in Jalen Hyatt. So I just don't see them doing anything unless they actually start giving Jalen Hyatt like 10 targets a game. Then they might have a shot. But until they start doing that, they're out. And same thing with the Texans. Again, Stroud needs time to develop. I love what you guys are building on the defense. I love what you guys are doing in general. I just think it's not there yet. There's obviously some people that might be available to help out, Lyle Collins and some other guys that could really maybe push some of these teams into that wild card or bust category. But for right now, I'm happy with all of them outside of the playoffs. Obviously, teams can kind of slide as we go week to week, but we'll adjust that as we see. Moving on to the next one. Teams that I think are going to be the wild card or bust. There's no way that they come into this with 12 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, and get like a bye. They're not even going to win their division, in my opinion. I think these are teams that are just kind of in it, but they're going to struggle to win 8 games and actually make the playoffs, and that's the Patriots. Patriots, I love Alabama Mac. I love the offense, actually. I'm surprised, and I might actually end up moving them up. But right now, they're still on the outs. I need them to prove more. I'm very concerned about that division, but obviously, just wait for the cup of coffee. You'll see why. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm surprised, very surprised that Baker really showed out. That means they might be able to keep Godwin and Evans, even though I want my Panthers to go snag him. But obviously, if we can see a slide at some point, I could see the fire sale actually happening and Mike Evans going someplace else. So for that, I don't trust you. Same thing with the Raiders. I've seen a few ideas, especially with the leaked audio, if you haven't seen it, from the reporter talking about Stephon Diggs. My thought is that they need to get him out of there. My crazy trade that I threw up last night was Devontae Adams for Stephon Diggs, pretty much straight up. And if you have to throw some picks in there to make it work, then do what you need to do. Get Tay up out of there, send him to Buffalo, let him try that. Get Diggs, fresh place. It'll be better for Jimmy G, or where I think you're going to go, which is Aiden O'Connell. But if that's the case, you need to trade Jimmy G, and again, the Jets could be a great option. We'll see. Tennessee Titans, I don't believe in you at all. A lot of people are going to come on here and be like, oh, Tannehill's going to do this and do that. That's great. He's going to do it for the CFL next year if he doesn't make the playoffs. So I'm not going to talk on the Titans. I don't believe in the Titans at all. I'm sorry. Once you lost Taylor Lewan, you lost it for me. I just don't think that Vrabel is I feel like you should really be just committing to the run. Like truly committing to the run and being a true powerhouse in the running game. But I just don't feel like that's going to happen. I feel like it's going to be Derrick Henry or bust, and that's not the way to go. I feel like there should be some diversity in the backfield, especially to save him for if you do make the playoffs. Commanders, Sam Howell looked terrible. I'm sorry. He didn't look great in that game. I think that there's development, of course. He needs to grow. He needs this. He needs that. But he has Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. So you need to put something together, especially with that running back room, too. You have Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson. Like, you need to do something with it. I could see it squeaking in, especially with that weird division, but we'll see. I just don't. Most of the other people, other than the Giants, are ahead of you guys and probably not going to slow down. So I don't have faith. Same thing with the Denver Broncos. I actually live here in Colorado. I don't believe in them. Russell Wilson is not it. Okay, Russell Wilson is just not it. He's the shell of himself. The contract is going to come and bite the Broncos in the ass. And I just don't see him actually translating into something more, especially with Judy out. The division is better. The Chargers are on this like weird thing, but I just don't see them being in there. I see them with the Raiders. If the Raiders get about 5 wins, Broncos are probably right behind them or right in front of them, like 6 or 7. Same thing with the Falcons. Falcons destroyed my Panthers. They did make themselves aware of the year. Made themselves aware of everything that was going on in the division. And to be honest, I just don't see it, man. I don't see the path for them to do it. Ritter was able to get away with just 18 throws. Drake London had no catches. I don't see that translating long term. Algier and Robinson, though, is a real interesting one. But it's obviously going to stop Bijan from getting Offensive Player of the Year if Algier is sapping touchdowns or yards from him. So don't expect him to go crazy. I'm still trusting in real tried and true running backs and not this rookie running back will solve my life problem. So, and then obviously the Jets. Jets would be in me here for a cup of coffee, if not actual contender category. But losing Rodgers changes everything. Again, I think that they need to go out and find somebody. I just don't know who that somebody is. I've said Garoppolo. Who else? Stafford. The one that I've said from the beginning is Jameis Winston. You guys could get him in. You guys are talking about bringing in Roethlisberger, Rivers, or Matt Ryan, an older quarterbacks that are not mobile, that still need to digest the playbook. The same thing that James Winston would be able to do, except he's got a better arm, he's younger, and he can handle it. That's just my opinion, but regardless, these are my wild card or bust. Let's move on to the next one, which is Here for a Cup of Coffee. Got some good ones on here. Pittsburgh, obviously, anemic on offense, to be honest. Their offense is going to be the thing that holds them back, which is, I think, going to be a lot of teams, including the Jets. I would expect the Steelers to have a top 5 defense when the league is over, even with the loss of Cam Hayward. But they're in it. Their division is going to be real interesting, but I trust in the Steelers. I trust in Mike Tomlin as of right now. I trust in Kenny the Ticket Pickett, period. Seahawks, same thing. I trust in the coach. I like Geno. I don't love Geno. I'm going to be the first to tell you. DK, Lockett, Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, plus that defense. I think the Seahawks could have a top 7 defense, if not top 5. I think they're real close. This is going to be kind of the resurgence of the Russell Wilson thing. So as long as Geno could be close to a Russell Wilson, I think they could really shock some people. Again, division's tough, but I'm excited to see them. I think they can make the playoffs. I think they could be probably second in the division, but we'll see. Vikings are 100% limited by the loss of Dalvin Cook, by the lack of ability when it comes to Kirk Cousins. I think that obviously Jordan Addison, I went big on in fantasy. I believe in Jordan Addison like anything. I truly believe that he is nipping on the heels of Justin Jefferson, and the man's barely played a game. I think that Addison is going to be a staple in the league for a long time, and I really watch him. If you have the opportunity to get him in sleepers, go get him. I really went after him, Smith and Jigba, Jahan Dotson as the main ones. And then obviously next year we'll be looking at Marvin Harrison coming out of Ohio State. So watch out for that if you do any sleeper leagues or any like long-term leagues. Saints are winning our division. Again, I'm a Panthers fan. I think it's going to be Saints. I think 2 will be the Falcons, 3 will be the Bucks, 4 will be my Panthers. I previously thought that my Panthers could do it, but after what I saw, I'm out on them. The Saints, I think Derek Carr is going to have a great week this week against my Panthers, 300-plus yards. I think it'll be multiple touchdowns. I expect to see Jameson Williams to kind of light it up in the run game. But I really expect to see Chris Olave and Mike Thomas out there probably with a touchdown piece. So same thing with the Packers. Packers are in a weird spot. I think they can make the playoffs. I'm not a Packers fan. I'm not a Aaron Rodgers fan. Anything Green Bay fan. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I just don't know how he's going to be able to make it work. First game, it looked really good. Really good. If this is who it was, then you guys should have moved on from Aaron Rodgers last year. And you guys could have made the playoffs last year, and this could have been his second year, essentially, almost as a starter. But whatever. I just don't believe in them 100% yet. Yes, I believe that they're better than a lot of these teams, but I just don't feel like they're real contenders. They're here for a cup of coffee. They'll be in for a game if they make it even that far. And then they're going to be out of it. Next one's going to be an interesting one, the Browns. Those look real good first week. Now, if they come out the second week and dominate, third week, dominate, I think we can really have some stuff to say. But right now, I think that the skipping balls with Watson and everything like that really just takes them out of it. I don't believe in their wide receiver core either. I obviously believe in Chubb. He is amazing. That whole division, outside of maybe one team, I think is going to be in such a weird place. Because you can obviously see 3 of them in this zone. So I think that 3 out of that division could absolutely make the playoffs. But we'll see. And then when it comes to the Chargers, I'm sorry, my boy Mike, shout out Mike. He's a diehard Chargers fan, my best friend. They're bad. I don't know what it is. I really like Justin Herbert. I thought this could be the year where he really turns the corner. They win some playoff games, and they make a solid run. But if it's going to be like the injuries you guys have already suffered, Eckler might be out. I just feel like it makes you guys one-dimensional. Obviously, you guys have some good backup running backs, but just nobody that's anywhere close to the Eckler level. So if you guys can't balance it, I don't see this going far. The Miami game does not give me confidence. But again, until you show me that you are just out of it, you guys are going to be up here. And it's the same thing with my next one, the Bengals. I am not going to lie to you. I took the under in the Bengals when it was 10.5. I probably would take it at 9.5 right now. I think that the Bengals are in a real tough spot. I think that the calf that Burrow is suffering from is more real than anybody's willing to admit. And again, if they can't establish a run game, I think it limits Jamar, T, and Boyd. But again, I'm also expecting T to be traded at some point soon. So we'll see. Bills. I'm sorry, I don't believe in Josh Allen. I've already put out a video before the season started. I told everybody I didn't believe in him. I think that he is going to absolutely underwhelm. Betting wise, I got it at 11.5, I think it was, and I do not think they'll even win 10. Or if they do win 10 games, that's all they're winning. They're not going to win 11. So I'm very comfortable with that. I think that Diggs is again a real controversy. I think you have to get Diggs out of town. You need to flip him for something, but what that something is to be seen. Personally, I would save Diggs if you can't trade him for Devontae Adams, and then try and trade Diggs for like the 5th round pick plus your 1st round or whatever else you got to go and get Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State next year. That should be your focus. Your focus, I understand you guys are trying to make a playoff run, but it's just not going to be it. The Buffalo Bills will not make the Super Bowl. I'll take any but gentlemen's bet $1. Anybody wants to do with me. They're just not going to do it. The Super Bowl window closed in that KC game with that last 18 seconds or whatever it was. And yeah, I don't. Detroit Lions, same thing. I think you guys can win your division for sure. You, the Packers, and everybody. Going to be real weird. Minnesota is really going to have to play themselves out of it for you guys to really excel. I think, again, you could squeeze in and everything, and you right now have beaten Kansas City, so it's a good start to the season. That's why you're here for the most part. I don't believe in this Jahmyr Gibbs hype, but let's see what happens. I do think it was sad of them losing Mims as well, but apparently it's injury-related, so regardless. Get to the last one. We're only missing a few teams, obviously, so we are in here with the ones that I actually think have a chance. Now, Baltimore, I'm going to first say a caveat is if they can stay healthy. They are already injury-riddled. They've already got some big ones like Dobbins out. So that's going to be really, really, it's going to tell the story. Same thing with Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to have injury problems. I think Calvin Ridley's going to go absolutely crazy. Again, I went hard on him on fantasy. I just need Trevor Lawrence to limit his picks. He needs to take care of the ball because right now he is the Daniel Jones of interceptions. Like, it is rough. He is playing them out of games. So I just need him to clean it up. If he needs a Brian Daboll one day to help him cut down on those, I don't know what the hell Daboll does, but for some reason everybody who gets him seems to cut down on interceptions. But regardless, those are the two that are kind of on the fringe for me. Obviously, the rest of them, Miami, I think is great. Your question mark is literally can Tua stay healthy? Dallas, who I think that, again, it's going to be a turnover thing. Can Dak take care of the ball and put you guys in position to win, or just not take you out of positions to win? The Eagles, can you stay healthy? Can you replicate what you did last year? And can Jalen Hurts stay healthy? Because, again, he is a mobile quarterback, so that's going to always be an issue. KC shouldn't be this high. KC is right now. I think that Travis Kelce injury obviously hurts them. The Chris Jones being out the first game hurt them. I think that they need a better number one wide receiver. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes can elevate absolutely everybody. And obviously I've seen some people going off on Twitter at people and all that, but Casey's in this weird spot. They're really anemic on that offensive side, I feel like, without Kelce there. So if he's not there and able to catch, 10 to 12 balls a night, they're going to struggle all year. And then obviously the one that I think is going to win the Super Bowl, or at least contend for it, is the 49ers, barring Brock Purdy's injury. Brock Purdy went out there and absolutely balled out. That defense is ridiculous, and I'm excited, man. This year's going to be good. I got a bunch of bets going this week. Got some for tonight. Tonight is the Vikings-Eagles game. This video will actually be up before the game even starts. But good luck to everybody tonight. This is the debut of my creation, the Playoff Parallelogram. Again, heavily inspired by the Punxsutawney Phil of football in Kevin Wildes. I just wanted to, have some fun with everything that I'm doing here at Roll Coverage. Really wanted to kind of do something different, and I just believe in what it looks like. It makes sense to me. Again, teams that are barely going to squeeze through to the wild card, open it up. There's the thing, and then they're going to taper back down to figure out who the actual champion is. I don't love the way I have it set up right now, so we do have some design changes that might be coming soon. But for the most part, the parallelogram will stay in its shape. So for that, I appreciate everybody who stuck around. I appreciate everybody. Please share this. Tag Mr. Kevin Wiles. Tag Mr. Chris Broussard and Mr. Nick Wright. You can tag Dusty. Shout out Dusty. You do a lot there. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for more of my playoff parallelogram. But regardless, everybody have a blessed day. This is Nick with Roll Coverage. We're out.